It's like a experience I can't even compare. It's like the way the stars were, because there's no light pollution. You're kind of in the middle of nowhere. And then just being there at sunrise by yourself, you're like in a world famous site by yourself. That's unheard of.
Welcome to Experiences You Should Have, your how-to guide for amazing experiences. I'm your host, Gail Manasco, and today we're going to be traveling to a petrified waterfall in Mexico, Hierve el Agua, not far from Oaxaca. And here on the podcast, I interviewed Feli Day, and she has her own virtual assistant company, and she actually set out to travel, and COVID hit, and she got stuck in Mexico, and she's still in Mexico. And I know for some U.S. travelers that maybe Mexico's on the list for the future, or other countries, wherever you may be coming from. And I know it's a weird year with COVID-19, and I don't know if these waterfalls will be open by the time you're listening to this, but check it out. And Feli Day has a very cool hidden gem about these waterfalls. So stay tuned to really hear about the secret. Hi, Feli. Thank you for joining the show.
Hi, Gail. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Now, where are you recording from?
I'm currently in Puerto Escondido in the south of Oaxaca in Mexico.
Wow. What brought you to Mexico?
Well, I was supposed to be traveling through Central America, but COVID happened and I was in Mexico at the time, so I stayed in Mexico.
Wow. You must have a virtual kind of job to allow for this. I guess a lot of us are teleworking right now.
Mm.
Are you able to make that work in Mexico?
Yeah, so I am a virtual assistant, and I've recently transitioned more into a virtual assistant agency. So I have a team behind me. And what that looks like for me is I'm more managing now than doing the actual tasks. So it really works for me because I don't have to like be online at certain times so much. Like I get to control my days 100%.
That's pretty sweet. You've got flexibility. You're hanging out in Mexico. Today we're talking about Hierve el Agua, which I hope, did I say that? Is
That's
that
how
right?
I'm also going to say it. So I hope it's correct.
Okay. And which is in Mexico. Can you explain what Hierve el Agua is for our listeners?
Hierve el Agua translates to boils the water. But what it is the second largest petrified waterfall in the world. And it's here in Oaxaca.
Very cool. I don't think I've ever even heard of a petrified waterfall before. So
The biggest one is in Turkey. I'm sure you've seen pictures of it. It's like a white waterfall with pools. It's beautiful.
Got it. No, I'm there now. I am there. But today we're going to be in Mexico. So how did you discover this petrified waterfall and describe the experience? Let's take me on a journey because I want to be in Mexico right now.
Like many of our listeners, I am a full-time traveler, and I have said for the last 5 years I would travel the world for waterfalls. Waterfalls are my favorite attraction to go see in other countries. Like when I was in Australia and Asia, getting to swim in waterfalls was so exciting because I'm from Canada and the waterfalls are ice cold. So
yeah,
when I was coming to Mexico, I know we imagine Mexico as beachy and, hot and sunny, but it's a massive country that has a lot of diversity. So I looked for waterfalls, and being a petrified waterfall, it's like a super touristy touristic location. Touristic.
It's very touristic.
Yeah, yeah. So it's one of those things that if you're in Oaxaca City, like you're going to see it mentioned everywhere. And then I just so happened to meet some people that knew about the cabins that were there because you cannot find it listed online. Nobody, I found one article of a person who had stayed in the cabins, and everything else is just about going to the waterfall. So spent the night, got to watch sunrise by ourselves at this beautiful, like deserted waterfall in the mountains in Oaxaca.
What was the tourist situation like?
If you take a tour, you know, you can take like the what are those called? Like the big buses.
Yeah.
If you take like the big buses, you know, you can go with everyone and they'll generally do, well, I can't remember the name, but there's ruins outside of Oaxaca, and then they'll take you to like a mezcaleria, which is where they make mezcal because Oaxaca loves mezcal. It's everywhere. And then they'll take
Hmm.
you to Hierve Agua, and you can walk around. There's a little hike that you can go down below the waterfall. Um, that's like the general tour. But what I did was use the public transport and stay overnight in the cabin. So it was kind of a completely different experience than being on a bus with 20 people.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So what was the cabin like?
Basic. Like it was just like a stone cabin. There was six, I want to say. Like they were buildings of two cabins, and you just walk in, and there was a single bed and a double bed, and then a bathroom and a table, and then you walked out the back. And I sent you the pictures of the waterfall. So not where the waterfall is, but the same view of the mountains off of it. And there was like a little fire pit, but when we were there, it was super windy, so we couldn't have the fire outside. But it's just a nice little basic cabin.
Wow. And then do they pair you up with people? Are you sharing a cabin with anybody or this is your cabin?
So the thing is that because there's no advertisement for the cabins, they're always empty.
Oh.
So there was one other group of people in the cabin, like the farthest away from us. So there was four empty cabins and then two cabins in use.
So there's no website to book these cabins?
No, and there's no way of knowing if they're available beforehand. You just have to show up and ask at the gate, like, can I stay in the cabins?
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, there's no like other secret code word, you know, kind of
No.
like you just you say I want to stay in the cabins.
Like,
Okay.
cabana, por favor.
Yeah. Oh wait, say that again.
Cabana, por favor.
Cabana, por favor.
Yeah, cabin.
All right.
That's the extent of my Spanish.
Okay, that's good. We need to know this. I mean, this is a hidden gem of the waterfall. Everybody's taking the big bus tours, and you could just show up and ask for a cabin. Now, what if the cabins are full? Could you have brought like a tent and potentially just camped up there?
Honestly, no one's there at night. Like, we walked around and we're by ourselves completely. So I feel like you could camp, but it's also like a park and maybe
Right.
illegal. I don't want to
Okay.
advise
All
on
right.
that.
Okay. All right. No problem. No problem. No, what'd you eat up there?
We brought food. There's no, because everything's closed. Um, when you get up there, like there are restaurants and stuff, but they close. I think they closed at like 5 or 6.
Okay.
Roughly when like the sun was setting, everything started to close and everyone left. So we'd brought our own food. We brought like tortillas and cheese and meat.
Oh, homemade tortillas.
Just I mean like the street homemade ones, you know? They're
Yeah,
like the
yeah,
corn ones though.
yeah. I just made homemade tortillas for the first time last
Really?
week. It's been a goal, you know. I'm like I'm home all the time.
There.
I bought a tortilla press and I made tortillas. They were delicious. There you are in Mexico. I'm so jealous. It's my favorite food is
Oh,
Mexican.
it's so good.
It's so good. My gosh. Uh, so how many nights did you stay?
Just one, just the one.
Did you need to tell them how long you wanted to stay for?
No, we just showed up and said like one night.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, what a cool experience. What was the water like?
What's the word I'm looking for? So it's a mineral water, right? But it's
Yeah.
not so much like the hot springs that smell like sulfur. It didn't smell like
Uh-huh.
sulfur, but it smells like some kind of mineral I don't know the name of. But it was a little chilly. I didn't actually swim because it was so windy. It was so cold when we were there. But it's not like it is, it looks boiling, it comes out of the ground bubbling, but it's not hot.
Okay. Okay. So this needs to be a refreshing
Mhm.
experience. So what time of year were you there when it was like super windy?
I was there mid February, like this year. So it was hot in Oaxaca City during the day, but at night it gets cold and then the wind comes through, so it gets colder.
Okay. So when do you think would be the ideal time to go here?
Well, right now is rainy season. I don't know if you can hear the rain like pouring outside, but it's raining a lot. So after the rainy season ends, which is like September, October, depending on the year, I think that would be the best time because when I was there, like the pools weren't exactly full. So
Mhm.
after the rainy season comes through, like everything should be full and like lush again. And so maybe October, November, December, and you'd still have like the warm weather and a full pool. And then January, February, I'm sure the pools start to go down again with all the heat.
Got it. Got it. All right, well, let's get into some logistics here because these are some beautiful petrified waterfalls. You've got the secret cabins you can just show up at. Um, okay, so exactly where is it and how do you get there?
So the waterfalls Hierve Agua are about 70 kilometers. I don't know miles, I'm sorry.
It's fine.
outside,
Yeah.
outside of Oaxaca City. So the way that I got there was you can take collectivos or cabs. Collectivos are just shared cabs, and they'll have the word Mitla printed or written on the front of the cabs. And so Mitla is about an hour from Oaxaca City, and then once you're in Mitla, you change to these. I can't remember what they called them, but it's like the transport truck. They're trucks where the back of them have like a bench and like an overhead, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So those trucks then drive you up this, like it's switch packs up a cliff. You go
Hmm.
up one side and then you go half down the other side and then you go through a town and you're there. And that's maybe like another 45 minutes. So if you were to drive yourself, it would be under 2 hours. But honestly, like parts of that cliff were so steep. And when I was sitting in the back of it, it feels like you're about to fall off at certain points when they're turning the corner. So I don't know if I could drive it myself.
Yeah. Okay, so how much did that cost to get a ride there?
I believe the first cab from Oaxaca City to Mitla was 40 peso, and then the like transport from Mitla uh, to the town was again like another 40 or 50. The only thing is with the transport to the falls from Mitla, they like to wait until the transport is full. So if you get there too early, you can just end up sitting there waiting for other people to come trying to get up,
Got it. Okay.
unless you want to pay them off.
Right. Now, what's the deal with the COVID restrictions in Oaxaca right now?
I think in Oaxaca City, it's way different than it is where I am in Puerto on the coast. I know that Oaxaca was hit harder than like we have been on the coast. Puerto Escondido kind of closed its roads when everything started picking up. So we had very few cases in the beginning. I know now it has picked up more, but it's also
Yeah.
like 6 months in now. But
Okay. Yeah, we're recording this in late August.
yeah. Yeah, so I know that someone went to Oaxaca City and Hierve Agua Hierve El Agua is currently closed.
Okay.
But like where I am in Puerto, like the beaches are open. Like the places you'd go on day trips, like Mazunte and San Jose and Chikawa, are open, and it's like it is up to you to do social distancing, but a lot of the people are wearing masks and washing hands. All the restaurants have to have the stations, and like the workers are really
Hmm.
good at being safe, even if the guests aren't.
Right. So to find out if Hierve El Agua is open, what would be the best place to check for that?
I would check with the Oaxacan Tourism Board. If you were in Oaxaca, I'm sure you could ask like at any hotel front desk because it is one
Right.
of their main um, one of their main attractions, and it's where people are going
Yeah.
every day. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, I
and
love the idea of staying in one of the off the grid cabins. I mean, how
yeah,
cool.
it's
Uh,
it's like a experience I can't even compare. It's like I don't know if you've ever heard of Fraser Island in Australia, but the way the stars were, because there's no light pollution, you're kind of in the middle of nowhere. And then just being there at sunrise by yourself, you're like in a world famous site by yourself. That's unheard of.
oh, yeah. I mean, that you just have to ask for a cabin at a world famous site that's not even advertised.
Exactly.
I love it that that's how they do it, and now we're sharing the secret with with all of our listeners.
Yeah.
Um, no, that's so cool. That is so cool. So you stayed for a night, but do you recommend others staying longer?
I think if you brought a full like cooler of groceries and had maybe a car so you could leave the town during the day, you could definitely do more than one night. But at the same time, like you're there for the waterfall, and when you get up there, because you'll get up there before sunrise when the gates close. So we saw it twice, right? We saw it in the afternoon, and then we saw it
Mm-hmm.
again in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wouldn't say you need to stay longer, but you could.
Yeah. Right. Okay. No, that's good to know. Now, what if you're one of those people that needs to be like on? You're a digital nomad, you know, you're running your own agency. Um, how's the Wi-Fi situation?
There was no Wi-Fi.
Uh-huh.
We did not have signal up there.
Okay, so people plan ahead.
Uh-huh.
No Wi-Fi, off the
And
grid.
not even no Wi-Fi, like no signal. Like if you had a SIM card, there was no
Okay. All
data.
right.
Extra off grid.
Good to know. Now, are people clothed up there? Is this a nude experience? Is this a clothed experience?
Clothed. Yeah,
You
no,
know, I'm just
everyone's wearing clothes.
okay. I mean, I live in Oregon and there's plenty of like nude type
Nude?
things around Oregon. Yeah, it's a thing. Um,
No.
FYI. I don't know. Like if there's just, you know, naked people in the waterfall, but no, okay, they're clothed. Now, what about families, kids? Did you
Yeah,
see that up there?
yeah. There's every type of tourist there. Like the walkway down is a bit paved, but it is paved.
Mm-hmm.
So there was like older people, younger people, families,
Yeah.
backpackers, just
And
kind of
then what
everyone.
about when did the tourists get there and when did they leave? When did you have it all to yourself?
As the sun was setting, it was definitely less people. But if you had your own car, then they kind of like stayed later. But then in the
Mm-hmm.
morning, when we went there, there was only one other couple there. And I mean, they just had like super nice cameras. So they were kind of wandering around taking really nice photos, probably. And the people who were in the other cabin, I didn't see them. So I think they literally came up and partied in their cabin. But yeah,
All right. Cool. Now, what if someone has limited mobility? do you think if someone like took a bus up or maybe they had a wheelchair, if they would have been able to get around up there?
I think you would be able to get like to the start of the waterfall, but then actually like because you can walk all over the top of the waterfall, and that's like walking on the like raised edges between the pools, and it's very uneven. So
Uh-huh.
I think you could only get to like the higher part of it, not down to the cliff edge.
Okay. All right. That's good to know. That's
Mhm.
really good to know. Um wow. I mean, what an experience. Kind of going to this world site, getting to spend the night there. Um I don't know, did you go like night swimming at all?
No, we like talked about it, but it was so windy and so cold.
Yeah.
Like if it wasn't windy, I think it would have been a completely different experience because we also probably would have had a fire and like sat out under
Right.
the stars.
Right. So I think you need a do-over. I think you need to
Oh,
go back at a different time
I
when it
honestly
opens.
do want to because I was originally thinking of going back up to Oaxaca before heading east, but then everything closed. So
Yeah. Yeah, right. Well.
yeah.
Then you could get that delicious Oaxacan cheese.
Oh, quesillo.
It's my favorite. It's so good. It's so good.
It's so cheap.
Uh, yeah.
Like you buy it in balls and it's just put it on everything.
My gosh, it's my favorite. It's absolutely, I mean, it melts so good too. It's
Hmm.
so good. Like, I love the tacos. They're just like, I'm
Yeah.
not sure if this is authentic, but it's just like Oaxacan cheese and peppers.
Okay. I have
Do
not
they
seen
do that
that.
down there?
I mean, I'm vegetarian, and it's so hard to find vegetarian food sometimes. Like some places are
Yeah,
just like all meat, but usually it's.
right.
If you say peppers, do you mean like the rajas?
Um, I guess up here in Oregon,
Mm,
we're authentic Mexican food here.
yeah.
No, um, they just will have like some spicy peppers
Okay.
that they'll roast and then chop up and maybe mix with some onions, melted cheese,
Hmm.
and put in a tortilla.
Yeah, yeah, that is exactly. So yeah, it'll be like a rajas tacos,
Yeah,
and then you have the nopales, which is the cactus.
yeah,
Just put some
yes.
Oaxacan cheese on top. A little bit
Ah,
hot
I'm
sauce.
in. Ah, I'm so in. Have you gone to like take any like, cooking classes or anything down there or learn their way?
I haven't taken cooking classes, but I have like I have a Mexican friend, but she's from the north, so different again. But she made tacos dorada, which is also taquitos, and it
Ooh,
was just like, wow, this is the easiest thing ever. You put some like filling in, you roll it, and you fry it.
yeah.
Like, why have I only ever bought them like store bought? You know?
Uh-huh, uh-huh. I've been binging on Mexican cookbooks lately, and I'm like trying to do everything legit. And then I'm like, how do people do this? You know, I mean like the beans and I made the rice, I made the tortillas, the guac, all the fresh salsa, and I'm like, this is like hours of work trying to make everything from scratch.
Yeah. But something I've noticed is
Um,
they'll put everything inside a tortilla.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Wow. Yeah, I'm very jealous of all the food that you're getting to eat. Do you have any additional tips for people who want to go to Hierve el Agua?
Bring a change of clothes if you're going to swim for
Uh-huh.
sure, especially because it is that mineral water, so you will want to change out of your bathing suit no matter what. If you're going in February, I'd bring a scarf. It was cold.
Yeah.
If you're staying in the cabins, bring toilet paper. If you're Westerners,
Okay. All right.
I always recommend that.
D-
But yeah,
I mean, do they have like a spray or anything? Because like when
no,
we were in Asia, we had like a spray.
no, they don't have the bum guns. I don't,
No bum guns,
I don't get it.
man. I feel like everyone should adopt the bum gun.
Oh, when the pandemic started and everyone was buying toilet paper, I was like, just get a bum gun.
Yes, yes. I was thinking the same thing. I mean, we didn't have toilet paper for, I don't know, for a month when we were traveling out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, bum guns, everybody. Go get yourself a bum gun. Um, yeah. Okay. Well, bring. I mean, what do you do if you don't have toilet paper or a bum gun?
Shake.
Oh,
You can
yeah.
splash some water
Okay.
like from the sink if you, I don't know.
Right. Okay. All right. Just
Yeah, I guess
sorry,
like
guys. We're
use
talking
your
toilet talk,
hands.
but wow. Well, thank you. I mean, this is really enlightening about this
Yeah.
experience, and I love the secret cabins by a petrified waterfall. Well, truly, thank you. I mean, what a little hidden gem there, and hopefully our listeners can go there one day.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope it opens again because it is like breathtakingly beautiful.
Well, one day, guys, put this on your bucket list and plan for it for later.
Soon,
Soon, maybe.
maybe.
I don't
I
know.
cannot promise anything.
Well, thank you, Felly. I truly appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This is fun.
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening to Experiences You Should Have. If you would like to follow Felly Day, find her on Instagram. I'm going to be linking to her stuff, or you can just look up Felly, FELLYDAY on Instagram. Really, really cool lady. And who knows where she'll be going next? This is such a crazy year. And thank you for listening to Experiences You Should Have podcast. If you are listening on an iPhone, go to that purple podcast app and kindly leave 5 stars and a great review. If you're not into us, just don't worry about leaving a review. That's totally cool. Please tell a friend, tell a family, spread the word about this podcast because we are an indie podcast and we're growing. So please share our posts on social media. Find us on Instagram, Experiences Podcast. And until our next adventure.